So start doing it the Ford's way, or what y'all might consider the Ford's way. So what am I doing here? What's the first two things I multiply?
You multiply 4x times 3x to the second power.
12. And 3 times 4 is 12. And then what do I do with these x's?
You'll add them.
Yeah, this goes back to those exponent rules, right?
Okay. Then you'll do 4x times -1.
Yeah, so going there, and then we go there, right?
Right.
What is that? Minus 4x.
And then you do 3 times 3x to the second.
I do the same thing with the second number from that first part. I distribute that thing. So 12x. What's it? 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And I have a what? X
to the cube.
How many?
I mean, oh no, it's just to the second.
Yeah, there's 2 of them there.
And then 3 times -2.
Should be what? -3, right?
Yep.
That's what we did yesterday. What are we doing today? Kind of said it, but we're going this. We went that way.
Yeah.
Today we're going.
We're going to
This
greatest
way.
common factors. The greatest common.
So sometimes. Ooh, got some telemers. Okay, that's a lot of noise. So we are going backwards today. We are going to do factoring. So one way is called distribution. The other way is called factoring. So distribution, put a big D maybe, put a big F. We talked about 2 different ways to factor something in the section. Someone already said GCF was one way.
Yeah.
What was the other way?
Grouping.
Grouping. So if we wanted to factor something like this, we would have to group and factor. So those are the 2 sorts of things that we're doing today. We're going to do factoring out GCF. So you might have to figure out what a GCF is. So there might be some work in that. But other than that, those are the 2 things we're doing. If you look at the first 3 problems, what was it 17, 29, 31? There's not a lot of problems in this one. And I kind of like a little disappointed. We don't have that many problems. And I know y'all probably like are cheering, but no, don't. Because this is going to come up and this is going to come up again. This is one of those things you want some practice with. And so I'll probably throw you some problems that aren't on here. But factoring is going to come up and it's going to come up again and it's going to come up again. It's something we're going to do over and over. So kind of forewarning you there. Don't like skip around. Don't try to zone out during like these next 3 classes for sure, because it will come back to bite you if you do. Not trying to sound too intimidating, but are there any questions before we jump off to groups?
Yes, I have a question. I know the second one that you was talking about is that we could group them, but we have to have 4 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
That's, yeah, so we're going to be really specific about how we factor things by how many terms are in there. So there's a certain way to factor things that have 4 terms. There's a certain way to factor things that have 3. And you might be able to factor things that have 2 terms, but only if they look a really certain way. It's very like specific. But basically each day we're going to like go over like a new sort of factoring strategy, I believe. Like today we're doing GCFs and factor by grouping. And then we're going to do, I believe next class we're getting into the box method or whatever they call it. There's a few different ways to do it. One of the common ways is the box method, but it's basically how we factor 3 terms.
You mean the AC method?
Yes, that's part of it. Yeah. So what problems did I put the problems in here? Everyone.
29.
17, 29, and 31, I believe, are the 3 problems I want to look over. I believe it's finding GCFs. I think they even tell you that, right? Find the GCF, pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the problems. Off to groups as soon as I hit breakout rooms. Sign automatically. Open in rooms now. And okay. And you can kind of attack this like any direction you want. If you start going this way, or you could start going up and down. Either way. But now I'm looking at 3 and 15. Between 3 and 15, how much can I take out?
3.
3 is the most I can take out. This should be a positive 3. Yeah. What about the B? Can I take out a B?
No.
No, because there's no B right here. Now I'm looking at the column. That's what it's called. Between 1 and 3. What's the largest constant I can take out?
1.
Yeah, only 1. There's only 1 here. Between an A here, no A's. How many A's?
No A's.
And what can I take out of this thing?
Just 1 B.
Just the B. And what about this one?
Just 5.
Just 5. All right. And if you do the box method, there is a sort of way you can check it. A times B, does that give me AB? Plus 5 times A, does that give me 5A? Things should be multiplying to the things that are on the inside, right? So we got 4 different entries. 3B matches up. And then last but not least, 3 and 5 should give me 15. So if you do it this way with the box method, what are the 2 things you should be getting out of here?
So is it just, it's B plus 5 times A plus 3?
Ooh, look at that. Breezing through the blocks. B plus 5, A plus 3. That's it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So when I set my equation up, when I'm getting ready to put it into the B plus 5 and A plus 3 form, do I have to do the B plus 5 first? Do I always have to do that parentheses inside parentheses first and then do
so depending how you write
like
things
A
out,
plus
you might
3?
get what? If you get A plus 3, B plus 5, is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Ooh, does that matter?
Does it matter?
So
With
this
the
is kind of like,
equation, it'll come out different, right?
so I'm probably going to be annoying, but I'm going to ask, like, does it matter if we do 3 times 4 or 4 times 3?
No.
This is the property, right, that you're talking about. And this is called commutativity. And it doesn't matter what order you multiply those things in, as long as they're all there and they're factors, right?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, because I know there was I know it was a equation that we were doing that it did matter because it would turn the whole equation, it would make the whole equation different.
The only time we haven't had commutativity in this class, well, we always did. The only time we talked about anything that didn't have commutativity was that matrix multiplication that got kicked out. So that's the only thing I can think of, like off the top of my head. But in general, like, this is a number. This is another number. I know it's got an A and a B in there, but if we think and we throw in numbers and evaluate it, this is basically going to be some number. And this is going to be some number. And the operation between them is multiplication, right?
Plus 5B.
And so if we're talking about what order we multiply things in, it doesn't matter. Whether we do like a 3 times 4 or a 4 times 3. It's still going to give us the same thing. So you should get these.
It would be, let me see, if I was to put the AB plus B3.
You should get the same
5A
factors. You should get an A plus 3 and you should get like a B
AB,
plus 5, but they may not be in the
plus
same order.
5. And it doesn't really matter as long as it's, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Because I noticed that, like, in your lecture that you were putting the B plus 5 first, whatever's in that inner parenthesis that's the same number, you know?
And if you wanted to do this by grouping without the box method, I would like really suggest the box because it really helps you out with structural organization. It helps you not drop signs that are there. Like y'all tend to be really good at the box. When you start doing things like this, some people get it, but like quite often people mess up. And so if I'm looking at A, B, and 5A, this is very similar. Ooh, I should like bring that up actually. Let's bring that box back. I feel like we can look at the parallels and maybe it'll make a little more sense.
No, I mean, I got it, but I was just asking that question. Like, so if I decided that I wanted to put the like the B5 first or the A3 first, I can do that without losing points.
So if you don't want to do the box, right? We're looking at A, B, and 5A, and you might notice the parallels to the box over there, but we're going to pull out A from these two things, and we're going to factor it out as what?
B
B plus 5?
B plus 5, yeah.
Same thing up in here. We're going to take
3.
3 out of these things, and that's going to leave me with, when I factor it out at B plus 5, I'm like cramming it up in here.
Mhm.
But it should be A times B plus 5 plus 3 times B plus 5. And what you might notice is that you have the same thing over, so we can factor out a B plus 5, and that's going to leave me with an A plus 3.
No, I was just the way that it was arranged. That was all I was wondering, the arrangement of it. So if
Yeah.
I could put A plus 3 first and then B plus 5, it wouldn't mess up the equation when I went back and added it in
Yeah,
to try to check it.
if you actually, yeah, so the order, if you actually change the order of these middle two things, I think you'll actually get the factors in a reverse order. So
Yeah.
it is the same, it's the same equation, right? It's just written differently.
And not have to rearrange
Same thing
it.
with this, right? It is the same equation. We just write it in a different sort of order.
Okay.
It's the same thing though. They're all equal. And it's that is equally as good as of an answer as this. They are both
Yeah.
equally as good. Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah. Thank you.
And so either way you can do it. If you want to do factor by grouping or you want to do the box, have at it either way, which makes more sense to you, basically. I'm trying to give you some multiple options. But if you're really confused, I would like go with the box. With that said, who's next? Jade.
Yes, are we on
43?
43?
I think
Okay.
that's where we're at. U squared minus u. So did you do with the box or did you group in?
I did the grouping.
It should be looking very similar though, huh? 6u and I did a minus 6. So I think if you're doing factor by grouping, you're looking at what? U squared and minus u.
Mhm.
So if we're looking across here, what's the common factor that you took out of these two things?
U.
And then between what? 6u and a minus 6?
6.
And what kind of 6?
I just did a normal 6, positive.
Should be positive 6.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at what? 6u and minus 6. Is that what is happening?
Sorry.
Right, never mind. Never mind. That was the one I just did. Okay. And then that left you with what was remaining?
U or wait, I divided by U. Okay, so it's U minus 1 and U minus 1.
Yep, those should match up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they do match up, we can factor out what? U minus 1?
Mm-hmm.
And we're left with a,
U.
yep, those are my two factors. U plus 6. questions about this? Did you get that? I didn't hear after you.
Yes, that's what I got. Sorry.
Just double checking. All right. If there's no more questions, we got one more, and then I got a few that I'm going to throw at you. 2x squared minus 14x minus 5x plus 35. Where I'm at, I was talking to Jade Fidel. Did you get this one?
Yeah, I did the grouping.
Should I do one by grouping? So that's what y'all are all trying to do. If I factor this by grouping, I look at the first thing, 2x squared minus 14x. I can take out how much?
2,
I can
right?
take out a 2. And what about the x's?
Just 1x.
Yeah, I can take out a single x. And if I take that out from that first term, what am I going to be left with in parentheses? So I take 2x squared, I divide it by 2x.
X,
Yeah, there's an x there. I take a minus 14x and divide it by 2x.
then 7 minus 7.
Minus 7. The x divided by the x, there's no more x's. I do 14 divided by 2 gives me minus 7.
Mhm.
What about this? What'd you take out from minus 5x plus 35? Because this is where I think that thing's coming in.
I got the 5, just 5.
You can take out 5. And what should we really take out?
It's mine.
The negative.
It's got a negative there, so
The
don't
negative.
forget to take out your negative. Otherwise, things probably aren't going to match up too well. And if we do that, I'm dividing what? Minus 5x by a minus 5. That's going to leave me with what?
Just X.
I take 35. I divide
Oh,
that by
7.
minus 5. What kind of 7?
Negative 7.
It's going to be
-7.
minus 7. And so if we did positives, right? If we did positives, it's going to end up messing up our signs. And so this thing and this thing aren't going to match. So don't do that. This is what I'm trying to say. Don't do that. We want to take out the negatives. And if we take out the negatives, we'll put them back up there. Take out the negatives, they should match. If you don't take out the negatives, they're not going to match. And now we have this thing. And I'm looking probably to get 2 factors out of this thing. So what's my first factor?
The X minus 7.
Yeah, this is the thing that they have in common. I can take this out as an x minus 7. And if I took out an x minus 7 from both of these things, what am I going to be left with?
You just group the 2x minus 5.
Yes, it's a horribly done too. Let me try to redraw that. My mouse skills are going haywire, I think. Okay. 2x minus 5.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's it. That's how to do it with what? Factor by grouping?
With x minus 7, right?
Yeah, there's an x minus 7 that we can take out
Yeah.
of both of these things. And when we do that, we're left with just the 2x minus the 5.
Yep.
Questions about this? Okay, there's about 4 more I got. I don't have them up in here. I got to just share my screen, I think. Where's my Word document? There we go. So now I gotta move y'all over here. So I want to do these 2. Where are we at? So 2a squared b to the third minus 3a to the 5 b to the 5 plus 5a to the third b squared. These are both trinomials, so we are doing GCFs for these 2. So find the GCF of these 2, pull them out. So the first one is 2a squared b cubed minus 3a to the 5th b to the 5th plus 5a cubed b squared. Second one is 2a to the third b to the third minus 8b to the fifth plus 12a to the third b squared. I want to give y'all like maybe like 5 minutes or something to try these out.
It's not in the homework sheet, this exercise, teacher, right?
No, this is just something I cooked up for y'all this morning.
Ah, okay. Because I did just what we have in the.
Yeah, I can post it up in the notes if y'all want.
Okay.
I have not. Okay, I want to give you like 5 minutes. So I think we'll open rooms for like 5 minutes or so. I gotta pause recording. So if I am looking at this one, is Carson around? I think she's the next one on the list. There you are. If I'm looking at this one, I'm looking at the constants first. I want to find my GCF.
Mhm.
What's my,
Sorry.
no, go ahead. What can I take out between 2, 3, and 5?
I took out A2 and B2.
Oh, there's no constants, but when I look at my A's,
Hmm.
I have 2, 5, and 3. I can take out an A2. I know I can take out most two A's out. I can take out, you said it. I have the same amount, like 2, 3, and 5 here with my B's. I can take out B squared.
Okay, and then I got. Are you ready for me to go on?
Yeah. So we are going to divide each of these by what? A squared, B squared?
Yes.
And we're taking out an A squared, B squared. Trying to write this thing with the mouse. It's a little bit wonky, but we'll get it. I'll get it, I guess I could say. Y'all aren't doing this. I feel like my handwriting's still better than a few of y'all's though. Oh man, and no one called me out on this. It should be A squared, huh? Where's my annotation tools? Come on, eraser. Should be B squared. First thing we take out is what? 2 divided by 1?
I said 2B.
Or not to be. No, it's 2B.
And then minus 3A to the third and B to the third.
Yes, I'm doing 3 divided by 1 gives me 3. 5 minus 2 gives me 3. Same thing. 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3.
And then just plus 5A.
Plus 5. 3 minus 2 is going to give me 1A. I got a B squared over B squared. I have no more B squareds.
Is 5A is 1. Right?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
only-
phew. Yeah. Good job. That's it. I was trying to make sure y'all are awake. Wink, wink. No, totally missed that one. Okay. Yeah, 3 minus 2 is 1. Should give me 5A. Questions about this one? If we want to check it, we could always multiply back through. What does this give me? 2A squared B cubed, right? 2 minus 3A 5B5 minus 5A to the third B squared. So I hope, I know you're like panicked and rushed, but you do have probably a little bit of time to like mentally check these things, right? At least, hopefully, do a little bit of checking when you do these. Like I said, y'all tended to be a lot better at what?
Excuse me, I'm trying to put the whole thing as grouping.
This one you cannot do with grouping, right? Grouping's got to be 4 terms. These all
Yes, I
have,
understand that. Yes, because I put my GCF here as minus A squared B squared.
Should be positive because this thing leads with the positive.
Yes, because I'm just okay. You mean in this case it's going just to stay like a squared b squared times minus 3a cube b cube plus 2b plus 5a, right?
Yeah, it should be 2b minus 3a cubed b cubed plus 5a.
Yes, because me, I am looking to get, I'm going down to make it as grouping to make minus out of the phys.
Yeah, if you try grouping, right, we have to group two things at a time. I'm not sure how you're gonna
Yes.
do that because it's like missing a term.
Yeah,
Maybe if you try to group this one twice or something crazy. But yeah, that's not factor by group.
because I'm looking to grouping it to make like a times 3a squared plus 5, then plus b times minus 3. Yeah, it's going to be complicated. I will just stay there. Okay.
Yeah, grouping works with the 4 terms. We're only getting 3 terms here. So we're just doing GCFs.
Yeah. We need to attach this one to in the homework, right?
No, this is just extra practice here.
Okay, perfect. Because then
Just making sure we get it. And then the next one is what, number 2? 2a cubed b cubed minus 8b5 plus 12a3 b2. And so who was next on my list? Carson, Michael, Fowler. Did you get this one?
I did not get this
All right.
at all. Like I am trying to follow along with all of this, and I am just not getting it.
Okay, so between the constants, 2, 8, and 12, what's the greatest constant that I can take out of these 3 things?
2.
2. Yeah, that's it. And what about my A's? I have an 8th to the 3rd here. I look here, and I look here. How many A's can I take out? And this one might be a little tricky.
2 a squared.
And then Michael's got it.
Is it 3?
It looks almost like there's 3, but the trick here is like how many A's are here?
Valid.
There's none, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we can only take out as many as there are the least of. And if there's no A's here, we can't take out A's. And so if I don't see an A in this one, I can't take out an A from this thing. So there's no A's that I can take out of this. But the B's have what, 3, 5, and 2 I can take out.
You got 2.
B squared, that's it. And we want to take out a 2b squared from everything here. We're going to divide everything by a 2b squared. Do you know it's hip to b squared? Sorry. Try to leave the news out of this. Cumulus had nothing to do with this. Okay, so 2a to the 3rd, b to the 3rd. And we're dividing that by 2b squared. So I want to put my 2b squared on the outside. I want to put some big parentheses to bright stuff in the middle. If I look here, I do 2 divided by 2 is going to give me what?
1. 2 divided by 2 is nothing.
Yeah, well, it should be 1,
I
right?
mean, yeah.
Yeah. Same thing over itself is always 1. We have an a to the 3rd. We're not taking out any a's. So how many a's are going to be left?
3.
If we start with 3 of them and we don't mess with them at all,
There's 3 left.
there's still 3 left. If we start with 3 b's and we take out 2 of them, how many are we going to be left with?
1.
1. And we start out with, next thing is a minus 8b to the 5th, and we're dividing that by a 2b squared. So minus 8 divided by 2 is the first thing I see there. That's going to give me what?
Minus 4.
Yeah. And we got 5. We're taking away 2. We're left with
3. B,
B to the
third.
third. That's it. And the next thing, that is that term. The next term is plus 12a cubed b squared. And we are dividing by what? 2b squared. So 12 divided by 2.
Is 6.
Yeah. We got a to the third. We're not touching them at all.
A to the third.
And what's my b's? What's on my b?
Nothing. 1. Or
Is it?
1.
If it's 2 over 2, how many it should be here?
1.
Not 2. There should be 2 minus 2.
Oh, sorry, too much. So it'd be,
Be like b to the 0 or just a 1, right? That guy disappears. That's it. You got it. Just like slow down a little bit, walk through them steps.
Ooh.
All right, where are we at? 1:30. I'm gonna give y'all like maybe 5 more minutes to work on these next 2, and then we'll come back and I'll finish them up in 5 minutes, hopefully. We are like right there, pretty close to the end of class. We've got 2 more examples. Let me exit out of this so I can scroll down. 3 and 4 right here. Now we have 4 terms. Look at my annotations. We got 4 terms, x to the 5th minus 4x to the 3rd minus 8x squared plus 32. And then the other one is a minus 8x to the 3rd plus 18x squared plus 28x minus 63. So I want to give y'all a few minutes. Go do these on your own. We got 4 terms, so what's the strategy?
You could do it by grouping or making the boxes.
Factor by grouping, yep.
Factor by grouping, okay.
I'm gonna say factor by grouping probably most of the time, but if you want to do the box, that's good. It takes place of the box, right? It's the same thing. Just doing it different ways. Okay. Questions? Are we ready to finish these off? You think you can finish these off? All right. What we're going to do not tomorrow. Monday is going to build upon this factor by grouping stuff a little bit. So this is going to come back up. Did you copy it down? Anybody need more time to copy it down? You'll let me. So I'm going to send you off to groups now. And I'm gonna pause the recording. Oh, that like did some weird stuff. Come on. Did you get this one?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So what did you get? Between x to the 5th and minus 4x cubed, what can we pull out of these 2 things?
X to the power of 1.
To what power?
Or 3.
Yeah, between 5 and 3, we should be able to pull out 3. If I look between what 8 and 32, how much can I pull out from there?
8.
And I want to make that
A negative.
a negative. If it leads with the negative, pull out the negative. Between, well, there's no x's here, so I can't pull out any x's. Maybe I should mention that. If I'm looking at my x's, I can't pull out any x's. If I'm looking at my constants between 1 and minus 4, the most I could have pulled out of here was 1. So I know I'm maybe skipping a little bit. But I hope you're thinking about it. Between 1 and 8, still just 1. Between x to the 5th and x squared, how much can I pull out?
X to the power of 2.
Yep. And between what, minus 4 and 32?
4. It's 4.
Yeah, and if it leads with a negative, guess what I'm going to do? Pull out that negative. And if you didn't, maybe you made this a +4 or something silly. You might notice like these two things when we multiply 8 and 4, or -8 and a +4, they're not matching up, right? And so this is sort of like why I like the box, is like we can check our solution pretty quickly. People tend to see it really quick when they write it in the box form. If we want to check x3 and x2 gives me x5. This gives me a -4x cubed, right? This gives me a -8x squared. This gives me the +32. And if I want to write my factors, what are the factors I'm getting out of this thing?
X squared -4.
And
X squared -4 again.
one of these should be cubed, right? -8, x cubed -8.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we are at 140. And so we are at the end of class right now.
I had two things to tell two students real quick. One, Vanessa, if you want to stay, just log back on here at 1:45. We'll both be here to talk with you. Office hours are right after class. Just log back on if people need to meet with us. Also, Charmaine, your most recent submission was not in a PDF form. It was in a really weird file format. So just check into that and don't do that again.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I seem to have trouble with the PDFs, but I can fix it, right? Am I able to?
No, it needs to be a single PDF. So you submitted something else. You did like a PDF to web something. What was it called?